Well, so here we are, 12:49. This is a little pray Jesus loves you kind of room, I guess. I don't know. I just have to bite my tongue when people say, Jesus loves you, Jesus is praying for you. I'm like, Jesus is like the second string JV quarterback on the high school football team when it comes to, you know, beings on the astral plane. You can believe in him all you want, but I know better and different. And we've had other experiences and yada, yada, yada. But I've got to get my mother the fuck out of my life. It's just not worth it. It's not worth what it does to me. It's not worth the way I feel when I have to deal with her. And I was so much goddamn better off. I mean, in the 3 years that she didn't bother to call me after I walked out of her house on 11/30/19, I had to go through the whole loss. And well, isn't that a shitty way for her to be? And we're watching all these mothers, and they're gnashing their teeth and wailing about their kids that the murderous, genocidal, ethno-Christian KGB thug Vlad the Wee kidnapped and took to Russia to raise his good little Ruskies, right? And they're upset that their children are gone. I was like, my fucking mother never bothered to call me. It was, like Tricia didn't say a whole lot over those 220 Medicaid paid therapy appointments. But, she would lower the hammer once in a while. And she's like, well, you were abandoned by your mother. I'm like, thank you. Can somebody see the shit that I've lived with and lived through with this woman and the fucking toxicity of it and the abuse and the denial of my reality, right? It's like, and I've said it over and over and over, go the fuck away. Leave me alone. If you're not going to do what I ask you to do and what I tell you I need, get the fuck out of my life. This is no relationship for me to have. And she just ignores it and keeps doing the shit that she wants to do. She's opening my fucking mail. She's paying off loans at Wells Fargo that I had no interest in paying off. She paid it off twice, in fact, but she would never send me enough goddamn money to get out of the country the way I wanted to. And I watched my health and my sanity, go down the drain over the last fucking year that I was there. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. It drives me absolutely fucking insane. It's not worth it. I mean, I've never been in a relationship this bad in my entire goddamn life. Ever. And, in New York, there's 8.5 million goddamn people. You dismiss people, like you go out on a date like, no, no, next, no, no. I mean, you're discriminating with your time and your energy and what you're going to put your shit into and blah, 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 blah. With her, it's just impossible. She will do any fucking thing that she thinks she wants to on my behalf, like she's helping me. Oh, but you just complain about everything. Fuck, why do you think I did? Because you lost all my shit. Oh, let it go. It's like she's got a fucking answer for everything. That's never her fault, never her responsibility, didn't have a goddamn thing with her. And this is what I should do instead, right? You shouldn't feel that way. You shouldn't think that way. You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't do this. Fuck you. I'm a goddamn 59-year-old man who you made homeless because you're selfish, self-centered, stubborn, and stupid. Intransigent, and an ACOA who's been untreated her whole life. When I went to treatment at 22 years old and I was sitting in a goddamn treatment center and they had to go to an Al-Anon meeting in order to come up to the 4th floor at the Center for Chemical Independence to visit me. And Dad said, I don't need to go to those meetings. I don't have those people's problems. And I thought, I guess his 22-year-old son, or I wasn't quite 22, 21-year-old son sitting in treatment is not a problem in his family. I was raised by fucking wolves. They have no emotional capacity for anything. And they think that giving money to shit is love, right? And the rest of the time it's just indifferent. The woman has told me over and over and over in the last 6 weeks, you do not live here. This is not your home. When the only fucking thing that I've needed for the last 6 years was a home and an income. And the assholes from SSD Knives denied me twice over 5+ years. So get the fuck out of my life, Mom. Please go the fuck away. I told her the other day, I said, I need cash. Well, I just gave it. I can't do that. No, it's not the fucking right answer. Do you know I'm in a goddamn homeless shelter? Do you know I've been homeless for 5 years? Do you know that I'm mentally ill? Do you know that I need like doctors and dentists? I've had 35 infections in my fucking mouth and I'm in pain all the goddamn time and I'm sleeping on the floor around a bunch of insane people and it's really bad for my central nervous system given my complex PTSD, which you don't believe fucking exists? No, do what I ask you to do. Give me what I tell you I need. Otherwise, get the fuck out of my life. That's the nature of this relationship. And, Tricia would say, like, she'd look at me and she goes, how much of this does she know? And I said, well, There were a couple of times when I was home during that 11 weeks when I lost 27 pounds when I was walking everywhere. She never offered to let me use her car. She wasn't buying enough fucking food. I was just like, like I wasn't even there. She couldn't see any of the shit then. I said, oh, there were a couple of times. I said, I had one breakdown. I was standing at the bottom of the stairs, getting ready to go upstairs to my room, and I was like, I was wrong. I was right. She made me wrong at every goddamn thing I did. Y'all go do 2 years of imago therapy with Emma Viglucci in the city and learn about the, passively neglectful, I can't say that, passively neglectful father and the encroaching mother. It's the model to a T. And you begin looking at it and see with Emma, the only thing that my body didn't register any of this stuff. This did not exist until I left Lexington and tried to move back here in 18. And when we were growing weed out on, Brookwind Way across from Lakeside Golf Course, and all this all this stuff started coming out. But with Emma, it was like, I'd be sitting there and she would say something or I would say something, it'd be a conversation. And it would like my eyes would dart over and there was like this moment of recognition. Well, if that means this, then this means this, and this means this. It was still a very rational kind of like, oh, I understand how that works. But I never considered how anything affected me or what my even needs were until I was in Canyon City, in this group there. It may have been Shay that did it, or maybe it was in the process of talking to Tricia. This thing's going to take like 4 hours to unload. But hey, upload. We got like 4 hours until dinner back at the homeless shelter, so I got nothing else to do. We just sit here in this little room and babble. It was somebody in the group therapy thing that Shay had. She said, it's not the trauma that's the issue. It's your ability to cope. And I instantly had a flash on, and I'd love to find this woman who she's an empath, she's a healer, she's an energy person who I used to know on either Instagram or one of them, because she was talking about having her uncle or grandfather died or something, and she was having she'd have a thought, and then the thought has a feeling, and she would start crying, and she'd never experienced this, and that's exactly what happened to me. And it was like, if I go back in my life, when Blythe left, and I would wake up in the morning and I would have like a half a second or a second of consciousness. And then boom, it was like this lead blanket fell on top of me. I could barely fucking move. And I would drag my ass out of bed and, get on the subway. And I would have a thought and I would break down sobbing. And I would have a thought and I would break down sobbing. And it went on. It was in the office. It was very inappropriate. It was all over the place. It was on the subway. It was in the parks, and over and over and over again. And that's how we began to feel things. And I've been broken since then. I should have left the city in '08, but you're on that rat wheel. You're making $100 a year. You're doing this. You're paying your rent. You have, I had friends, and at least I had my friendships have always been people I pay money to, right? Rolfers, acupuncturists, massage therapists, chiropractors, colonic hydrotherapists, yoga teachers, meditation teachers. All this shit costs money, and those were my relationships. But I had a full life, and we lived in New York City, and blah 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 blah. So now we sit around and growl like this, and everybody's like, stay the fuck away from that guy. Or they come and sit right next. There's nobody else in the entire room, and somebody comes and sits right down. I'm like, of all the goddamn chairs in this place, this is where you got to sit. I've had people actually get up and move away from me in AA meetings in New York when the anger was coming off of me, because I was like, oh. But I really wanted the fuck out of my life. I can't deal with her anymore. I can't deal with the bullshit. I can't deal with the gaslighting. I can't deal with it's like gaslighting with a fucking sledgehammer. You didn't listen to a fucking thing I say, and now you're saying this, and you're telling me I'm wrong? No, I'm not wrong. I'm right about everything I say, because I know what I need. I know what I want. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it a long time. So shut the fuck up and leave me alone. Get out of my life. I've never had this much trouble getting rid of a girlfriend ever. They just leave, they all leave. Eventually, it all goes away. Except for the ones that I leave. I left Paola. I just decided I didn't want to be in that relationship anymore, and I made up some bullshit excuse about I needed to go work on my alcoholism, which sent her into paroxysms of sobbing, because the last dude that she had just dated had that issue too. And so clearly she saw, 2 in a row, maybe there's an issue with me, and I should work on that. I've never heard from that woman again since we split up. She, the day that I told her that, she picked up the phone and she called the landlord and she said, is that apartment on the first floor still available? She's like, I'll take it. I want it. I'm leaving for Russia tomorrow. We'll work it out. Okay, bye. And I repainted the apartment so she could, because she had all the money. She was made like 60 grand at the World Bank, and I was making like 32 probably at Aaron Krantz, Extut and Kuhn. And so it was her deposit. I repainted the apartment so she could get her deposit back, and I moved into the place on 19th and R, just east of DuPont Circle. And then we got Joan in, who had been in the building on Dumbarton. We got her in from Virginia, and Joan and we lived in the building together. And then when I moved to New York, who was across the hall from me on the same goddamn floor at 229 East 28? Moigs, her friend, Joan's friend, the accountant, Moigs. I was like, that was weird. And Moigs is my birthday twin, another April 19th girl. Weird little things that happen. But yeah, this shit with mom. I mean, if you're going to force me into this fucking life of sleeping on the floor at the goddamn homeless shelter and not give me a place to live because you think I'm not appreciative enough of the bullshit that you've done. Because, Dad, and everything I say, it just goes ignored, right? I said, I'm going to remind you of something that your lying husband said to me. He said, you want credit for doing things that you should have been doing all along. She acts like it's an extraordinary goddamn thing that she went out and bought Little Debbie's and shit for me to eat in a place that is my home, as if I should be just uberly grateful and appreciative. No, fucking woman, it's my home. I should need a place to live. You're going to make your 60-year-old goddamn son homeless? That's what you would rather do than have to have me tell you no when I make a sandwich and want to go eat it in my goddamn room, and you explode and you call the shithead brother and he calls the police and throws me out. I don't need that white trash bullshit in my life at all. I don't need you in my life. I don't want you in my life. Please get the fuck out, Mom. Go away forever. Thank you. Bye. Take me seriously. Respect what I say. Do as I ask for once in your goddamn life, okay? Thanks, bye. Now we'll try to upload this, and it'll take an hour, and nobody will watch it, and it won't matter. And I'm still going to have to deal with this woman from now on. It makes me fucking insane, and I can't stand being insane like this, having to deal with her. So, we don't have $1. We can wait till dinner at the homeless shelter and get our spot on the floor and go back to sleep, get up tomorrow and do it again. It's such a complete stupid fucking waste, and I can't get health care or medical or dental or anything here in 8 weeks. Oh, so yeah, we're angry, Mom. We have anger. Not violent at all, and you've painted this picture of me as some kind of fucking monster who can't control himself, and believe me, you've never seen me angry. So, okay, ciao, 12-12. Ci vediamo un'altra volta.